sure your family.
I only work 3 days a week, for Christ's sake, you know. The rest of the 4 days a week, it's my own family, you know. But it's just bad governance. That's what's coming down to. No transparency. And putting strange sanctions to trying to micromanage.
Don't get too close.
Whereas I was running the organisation.
For your safety.
Oh, we got the action there. I like that. I like it by the action.
And diminish my responsibility.
Okay, so you think it's like they want
Is
to
that
make
pizza?
it didn't want to use
Is it?
It can't be a lot like that. I was more, let's say, diplomatic. Because I know so much better than the rest of it. Difficult to try to fast track and try to do it around the court situation.
So I'd like to introduce Ms. Jessica Hirst from the USA, who's going to perform Poor P-O-U-R. Thank you.
So I feel like everyone I look at and everyone around me has so much confidence and they're so comfortable socially, and all the guys that I know are so good with women, and everyone's got so much money, and just everyone has this wonderful life and they can behave and interact so wonderfully socially, and I don't feel like that, and I never have. Like from an early age I just feel like I didn't fit in, and in a social situation where I'm with like loads of cool people, that isn't me, and I feel so uncomfortable, and if a person's close to me trying to talk to me personally, my heart's racing and I'm like just so full of anxiety, I'm so nervous, and especially with women as well, that I just freeze up and I don't know what to say, and I'm like dead shy and everything. And that's how I feel in social situations. And when I drink a couple of beers or a couple of drinks, whatever, it vanishes. And it's like a magic elixir, it really is. All that fears and everything, and the jealousy I have of other people, of how they can react. Now I can act that way, and I say act because it's a complete act. It's not, you know, it's not who I am naturally. And I can become this person that I think everyone else is like, this complete comfortable in social situations, you know, laughing freely and honestly, and being confident, and, you know, being able to talk to women. And I mean, all, you know, down to all my relationships have met a girl when I'm drunk. All the first few encounters of being drunk to mask my anxiety. The first time that we go and have sex, I'm drunk. And then now I've reached a level of comfort with that person that I can start removing the alcohol, and now I can be around them with alcohol. But without that, you know, that progression, that was really tough for me. And yeah, this alcohol, the magic elixir, just removed it all for me and allowed me to become, in my mind, like a superhero, you know, like a superhuman. Everything I am, like, yeah, the person that I can dream of being. And that's what it does for me.
So there I am, a young guy, and why am I drinking? Why am I drinking at such a young age? Well, that insecurity that I told you about. Somewhere around 14, I was, a friend of mine drank his grandfather's homemade wine, and we went to a party, and damn, I felt like I was in the spotlight and doing just fine. I thought I was more friendlier. By now I'm interested in girls. I thought the girls were more friendlier. It was a party, I was dancing. It just gave me a sense of feeling okay. Just a warm sense of feeling okay around others, which I did not feel before alcohol. And my parents were Irish. Fitzgerald, and both of them were drinkers. And my fast forward, I was alcoholic drinking by teenager. By my teenage years, at 17, the local judge put me in the county jail for 10 days. Now imagine, 17. Excuse me, it might have been 16. No, it was 17. I was kicked out of school at 16. And at 17, the judge, I was drinking daily by 17. I was put in the county jail for 10 days because he thought that it might help me understand that he was seeing me come into court every week, not so much as doing something bad, but out on the street drunk. Big men a lot of time, and they would.
I guess things started, let me see here. Alcohol started kicking my ass after many years of having a lot of fun, in the sense that I would wake up in the morning, morning after morning with hangover, and I would start getting these shakes, and I had heard about it from whatever I've heard about. And so I remember consciously thinking to myself, oh, I wonder if I have a shot in the morning, if that's going to take care of it. And sure enough, it took away the shakes, and it made me feel normal again. Even when I was waking up gagging and throwing up, I would need to have a few shots to stop the nausea, and that's when I realized I was in really big doo-doo, because what would happen is, I would start to feel normal again, and since I had already taken a few drinks, I had no way of stopping or slowing down, and as much as I promised myself, and I tried to cut down for the whole day, I'd inevitably go back to the liquor store and get another bottle, and then the whole thing would start all over again, and I would be, probably at the end it'd be like, a few drunks during the day where I would just drink, only buy small bottles at a time because I was trying desperately to control it, but, I would drink the small bottle, and then I would get really drunk, and then I would sort of sober up from that, and then, feel just a couple shots just to feel normal again, and the whole cycle would start over and over and over.
So now when things have got bad, what happens is I pick up a drink, and that first night I have the great feeling, everything's amazing, and then I wake up in the morning and it's just a complete opposite of how it felt that first night. With all that anxiety gone, all that social confidence, with everything, I wake up in the morning and I feel like I'm just a shell of a human being. I can't function, I can't do the simplest of tasks. Like, if I go to work, I've got all this list of stuff to do, and all I can do is sit there and stare at a computer screen and pretend I'm working. I'm just like on Facebook and doing whatever I'm doing, and I just cannot function. I can't look people in the eyes. I'm full of anxiety, I'm full of fear, and I just feel absolutely horrible. I can't. And so I'm just going through the day, just like counting the minutes, counting the seconds of like this mental torture and like suffering and anxiety of just this horrible life. And then the second that 5 o'clock comes, that's it, then I can go out and I can start drinking again. Because, I get home and I buy alcohol, and I'm looking at the alcohol, and I feel sick, I feel like shit, I'm tired, I've only had an hour's sleep, fear and impending doom, and I'm looking at this alcohol, knowing that it's the cause, but knowing that it's the solution, just that immediate solution, and I know that it's made me feel this way, but I'm looking at it, and I'm literally looking at it, it's like, no, I don't want to drink this.
To the point of having to be hospitalized, because I was drinking so much that I had alcohol poisoning, and I had to go to the emergency room, and again, they would get me on an IV because I would be dehydrated, and that was terrible. It was very, very, it was 24, 48 hours after that, it's just, I wouldn't want to wish it on my worst enemy. It's really, really bad. And, but that didn't stop me from going back to drink after I was let out of the hospital. Like 2 or 3 days later, I was on the same thing, and that's the disease right there. That's the craziness of being an alcoholic without any treatment.
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Spending a lot of time trying to make rules for myself and promise myself that I'm not gonna, just this one, or just get over this hump, or tomorrow I'll tackle this. It took me years to realize that it was bigger than me. It didn't matter how smart I was. It didn't matter you know, what different things I read or etc. It was too powerful for me.
I got to tell you this because this is a very key part of my recovery. I was in a hotel room. I lost my hotel job. Finally, I'm losing jobs now. And I was going to AA meetings, but I wasn't. And I get a knock on the door. I'm in a hotel room drinking for about 2 or 3 weeks straight with a couple of alcoholic friends. And a knock on the door, and it was an AA member who he had heard that I was drinking myself to death. And he took me out and he said, "You're coming with me, whether you like it or not, you need help." And I was just so helpless that I had no other choice but to go with him. And he took me to a halfway house in Miami. Miami Beach is this one town, across of a body of water is Miami. So I went to a halfway house and I was so sick they kept me there for 3 months. And I don't know who the hell was paying for it. I guess this guy and maybe a few other members, because I was known in AA, but I was also known that I failed terribly in AA. And they gave me a lot of help. I stayed for 3 months. I was very sick. I couldn't climb a flight of stairs. I weighed 95 pounds. And
I'm looking back through my life, and you know, all the episodes of violence, especially when I was younger, you know, fighting in the street, and even to the point of, you know, attacking innocent people, going out and robbing people so that I could afford drinking drugs on the street. I mean, to me, that's one of the worst things I've done is to go out and you know, steal from and beat up innocent people on the street because I want to go and buy whatever I'm going to buy, drinking drugs, and I mean, it's just horrendous, you know. And that's only while I'm drinking or while I'm on drugs that stuff like that would occur. You know, I mean, I've cheated on every single girlfriend I've ever had while I was drinking. You know, when I've got sober then, that was the complete opposite. I'm completely faithful and I don't talk to any other girls or anything.
you know, it's just receiving these cruise ships. And I was with an AA member whom I watched come in and get sober and become a real successful person in society. And I used to have to step over him because he slept under the overhang just before you walk in the bank. But he slept at nighttime under the overhang, and I remember going to the bank and have to step over him because he was unconscious, sleeping there. Well, anyway, he come into Alcoholics Anonymous. He got sober, and I worked with him. And he eventually became my sponsor. So we're out there waiting to receive a cruise ship. And I said, we were tying up cruise ships. And I said to him, John, his name was Fishman John, John, what the frig is wrong with you, man? He says, John, you're not working the steps. You're not surrendering. And that night, I mean, this is very serious talk, and I really wanted to get sober, and I was really having a difficult time. He says, it's all about the spiritual part, John. It's all about the steps. You know, you want me to be your sponsor? It's all about the steps. He says, you've got to start with step one and realize how powerful you are. Ask God, even if you don't know who God is, fake it till you make it. And said, go home tonight, get on your knees, and surrender. You know, I know you want it. I've seen you in and out for years. Everybody's pulling for you. But you need to surrender, John, and you need to make Alcoholics a big part of your life. And that I did. I went home that night. I got on my knees. I didn't know who or what this higher power was, but I knew it wasn't me. And he said, that's always the main important thing. You know, as long as you know it's not you, just let go. So I made the group of Alcoholics Anonymous my higher power. And I went home and I said, God, or higher power, whatever the hell you want to call it, I want to quit. I want this AA program. I want to be like the others that are in there, that are successful. So I went to the next meeting the next day, and I haven't stopped since. I went in, I raised...
Right now I've got just over a year in recovery, uninterrupted sobriety, and I mean, it's night and day compared to especially the tail end of my alcoholism. I don't need a drink to talk to someone. I don't need a drink to get to sleep at night. It's not consuming my mind 24/7, you know, looking forward to a drink or needing a drink or trying to control my drinking. It's just, I never thought it would happen to me, to be honest. I really didn't. You know, all these people in the AA that put their life back together, and I thought, well, good for them. But you know, if you do the work and you're willing, it's amazing. And you know, it's even hard for me to get in the mindset and memories of how awful it was. I don't like to go there too often, but I do need to remember, you know, and the promises is part of AA's promises are happening for me. You know, my life is coming back together and moving forward, and one day at a time. And my physical health, I mean, I had no idea that how much my body and my spirit was breaking down because of my drinking. I was just in such a state of denial, and it's really nice to not fear that I'm dying of some cancer or something like that, because I feel so physically healthy now, which is really cool. And so it's worth it. It's quite a journey, and I'm really grateful to be alive.
Well, being in recovery it's really great. It's nothing I ever imagined before I got in, because it's living life on life's terms, and knowing there are going to be bad days and there are going to be good days, and knowing there are going to be decisions that I make that are good and bad. But the best thing is that I know that even if I made bad decisions, it weren't because I was drunk or I was my mind wasn't clear because I had been intoxicated for so long. So that's free. That's a freedom for me. That's free.
They all knew me anyway, John. I'm back again. I'm an alcoholic, a drug addict, and I want to get it. And I'm going to say and that was 33 years ago, and I haven't left since. I've had a little trouble with medication prescribed by doctors, but because of my abuse, I abused them. But I understand that now. I got to be very careful with whether it's coffee, whether it's Valium, whether it's a painkiller, and of course alcohol. So I need to be very, very careful. But anyway, it progressed. I worked with John. I got another sponsor. I worked the steps. And it become a lifestyle. It's not a challenge. It's not something that I don't like anymore. My self-esteem is sometimes over the top. I got to be careful with my self-esteem. I went from hating myself to feeling worthless to not only liking myself, but you know, there's a purpose for me in life. And right now that's passing the message and just loving people. I mean, not only do I like myself a lot, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I really care about myself. I hated myself. That's the biggest joy I get in sobriety, is that I can sit in a room, whether it's at Alcoholics Anonymous, well, it's at a church, not that I'm a big church goer, or whether it's just a social event in town, and I feel as good as anybody in that room. And for that alone, recovery has been working.
Before is that once things start getting better, you know, it's one of Mother Nature's kindnesses that we forget our traumas. You know, it has to be like smoothed over. So all the bad stuff that you've been through in the past, you can't hold on to that raw feeling forever. You know, it is a kindness that it goes away, and the memories of the pain and the suffering become, you know, glossed over, and you forget so easily what it was like. And so now, you know, I'm living good sobriety, my finances are getting better, the relationships that all that I damaged have got better, you know, I'm cleaning up the wreckage of the past. But life is alright now. And so what's my motivation for keeping up all the hard work that I need to do, of praying, of meditating, of attending a lot of meetings, of helping other alcoholics, of examining my defects of character and working on repairing them, you know, what's my motivation for doing that now? What it is and what it should be is, it's not the memory of the pain of the past, it's the gifts that I'm given today, you know, of all the gifts that I have today in sobriety, of all the good things that I'm given, is to keep those things. That's the that I have in the AA program just goes away. I'm not looking at my defects of character, I'm not willing to help people, I don't want to be at meetings. You know, all dishonesty starts creeping back in, and then before I know it, I'm what we call a dry drunk, that I'm not living an AA program, the hole has come back in my soul that needs to be filled, and the reasons why I started drinking, such as social anxiety, not being comfortable, you know, the suffering, all this kind of stuff starts creeping back into my life, and it's very clear to me that if I don't keep up the hard work and do what I need to do on a daily basis, it's not long before I need alcohol to give me what I have in the AA program. It's hard work.